I just got done taking Ryan Tedder's monthly songwriting course, and I have a lot of feels about the whole experience. So I'm just gonna jump in. In this video, I'll give my main takeaways that I learned, as well as some pros and cons. The two biggest things that I took away is, number one, write a dope chorus, make a second even better chorus, and then throw away that old verse that you had before because probably really sucked anyway, and replace it with your first chorus idea so that all of your song is pretty sticky. The second thing was try out a different song structure. Ryan really stresses the idea that most hit songs nowadays don't even have a bridge. So each song we write for the chorus didn't even have one. And the last thing that really stood out was to spend more time recording some vocal passes of just gibberish to save any and all ideas that come out. Because sometimes you'll do a little run or a note that feels right without even thinking about it. But you'll have it all in your DAW and to edit and add to later on if you want to. So let's talk about some pros. There is a small chance that Ryan will leave feedback on your first song. There is a chance that you will be put in a group that gives you some helpful feedback for writing your songs and your submissions for the class. You get to be a fly on the wall for some quick writing sessions with Ryan, as well as when he writes with Cautious Clay, which was actually my favorite part, to be honest. And finally, you might find some great songwriters to collaborate with in the future. I personally found a couple people that I've already scheduled some time with that I'm pretty excited to make some things with. So my cons for this course are not only things that kind of left a sour taste in my mouth, but also things that just could be better, or just thoughts that are kind of left in the air for me personally. Let's start out with the bang, shall we? It is 2021. When people signed up, it was still 2020. We're all still in a pandemic. I know that Ryan is not hurting for money, so I think if you're going to release a course with Ryan putting his stamp of approval on it, please, 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 please make it worth everyone's dollar. Ryan came into the class to leave feedback one time in all of 30 days. And I get that he's busy and all that, but if the trailer for the course mentions that he might pop in from time to time, in his own words, but only hops in to leave feedback on 10 people's submissions, I just think that's a little bit fucked up, to be honest. The easy thing to do is just don't tell anyone you're gonna hop in the class and give people false hope for that chance that you might actually leave a review. This course seems like it's mainly for someone who is just starting out in songwriting or producing. He teaches a lot of entry-level tips on how to get started and like what gear to choose and so on. But the learning can be a little convoluted because he goes from explaining from what a stock plugin EQ is to diving into some pretty complicated things without really explaining what's happening. For example, he talks about pitch shifting kick drums, but only really skims the surface on how to actually do it. It seemed like he goes in and out of a creative flow and tries to explain things here and there. I understand how that might be difficult to balance the two in real time, but I just figured it was something to point out about that. The main angle for this course is writing for someone or with someone. In the course trailer, it sounded like it might be just as helpful for someone who's looking to write songs for themselves. But the collaborating in some way is there throughout the entirety of the course. Lyrical content all seems pretty ambiguous, so the potential artist for whatever track you're working on can relate and make adjustments there. It doesn't really feel personal, and maybe that's just radio music, or what is more likely to make a hit song. I wouldn't know. But a lot of my bigger inspirations draw from a little bit more of poetical intricacy. I get the point of it though. I'm interested to see how does the process differ for writing songs for One Republic, since a lot of their tracks aren't necessarily like hits. In my opinion, this course would be better with smaller pods. Any changes you make to your homework assignments are either subject to your own intuition or possible peer feedback. If you get put in a group that doesn't give great feedback, then tough luck, to be honest. I've also heard that some people in other groups can just be straight rude, which sucks because there really aren't any like course moderators. The UI UX of monthly is pretty frustrating. Checking through notes is a little clunky with having to expand each window just to see everything, and leaving constructive criticism to make real changes is a pain when you're limited to text response and video recordings only. I want to know a little bit more behind the decisions of the math of the drum programming that he chooses, like why he might choose a kick and snare pattern. A lot of the time he just explains his choices as intuition based on experience, which is cool, but not being able to explain creative choices isn't really helpful to me. If it was just marketed as a video course on its own, I might recommend someone paying for it. But honestly, the peer feedback part is more of a negative thing than a positive for me. I think Ryan should have hired professionals who could moderate each peer group and give actual constructive feedback for people who didn't get much responses from their postings. I would happily pay more than double if that meant I received feedback from other professional industry songwriters instead of just other peers taking the class. Your peers are randomly selected, so the skill range is quite all over the place. Not that I'm trying to sound like an or anything, but I don't personally want to pay to have to take feedback from people I might not be interested in hearing feedback from in the first place, which is kind of annoying when people are assigned to leave feedback as part of your homework. Whether it's actually helpful or not, it's just either way, people have to do it to move on to the next assignment. Overall, if you're new to songwriting, I could probably recommend this course to you. For anyone who already has experience with songwriting or producing and collaborating with others at the same time, it's probably not worth the cash. I hope I didn't sound like an asshole here. I probably would have given it a second thought before signing up had I known the things I know now before joining the course. So, thanks for watching.